This is Business Week Armenia, CivilNet's weekly business digest. Here's what you need to know this week. About 1,850,000 tourists visited Armenia in the first 9 months of this year, smashing the country's all-time record for that period. If that pace is maintained through the end of the year, Armenia will see its highest ever number of yearly visitors. The current record was set in 2019, when just under 2 million people visited Armenia. The Armenian government has set aside more than $2.5 million this year to promote Armenia as a world-class international travel destination, a fivefold increase from its tourism spending last year. Figures out this week from Armenia's Tourism Committee, an agency overseen by the Economy Ministry, show 51% of visitors so far this year came from Russia. According to the World Travel and Tourism Council, tourism contributed just over 12.5% of Armenia's gross domestic product in 2019. For comparison, tourism accounted for more than 27% of Georgia's GDP that year. Earlier this year, the head of Armenia's Tourism Committee, Sisian Bogosyan, stopped by our studio to talk about her team's plans to make this a record-breaking year for tourism in Armenia. You can find our full conversation with Sisian up now on our website and YouTube channel. The International Monetary Fund has hiked Armenia's projected real GDP growth this year from 4.5% to 7%, the highest projection for any former Soviet country and well above the 4.6% expected growth average for the Caucasus and Central Asia region. That's all according to the IMF's latest World Economic Outlook report out this week. For comparison, the IMF is forecasting 6.2% growth for Georgia, 4% growth for Turkey, 3% growth for Iran, 2.5% growth for Azerbaijan, and 2.2% growth for Russia. In a separate report earlier this year, the IMF noted Armenia and the broader Caucasus and Central Asia region was reaping short-term benefits from the war in Ukraine while also warning of longer-term risks. Overall, the IMF pointed to a milder than expected contraction of the Russian economy and large inflows of income capital and migrants from Russia as the main drivers of the region's ongoing economic boom. At the same time, the IMF noted that Russia's invasion of Ukraine has introduced immense uncertainty to the economic outlook, warning that a reversal of inflows, worse than projected Russian growth, supply chain disruptions, or lower remittances could all prompt a negative economic shock in the region. Last year, Armenia's GDP grew by an eye-popping 12.6%, the highest expansion rate of any country in the region, largely on the back of massive inflows of capital and labor from Russia and soaring trade between the two countries. Earlier this year, the head of the IMF's Middle East and Central Asia Department, Jihad Azur, sat down with us to talk about the IMF's work in Armenia, the issue of compliance with US and European sanctions on Russia, and more. You can find our full conversation with Jihad up now on our website and YouTube channel. The Armenian government has earmarked about $100 million to support the more than 100,000 Armenians forcibly displaced from their homes in Nagorno-Karabakh following Azerbaijan's lightning offensive against the region last month. To support our sisters and brothers forcibly displaced from Nagorno-Karabakh, as of now, the government has allocated around $100 million through a number of programs, Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan said this week. That includes one-time payments of about $250 to every displaced person from Nagorno-Karabakh, regardless of age, as well as monthly payments of about $125 to cover rent and utilities for the next 6 months, again to every displaced person. Those payments are transferred directly to the bank accounts of displaced people, with payments due to minors transferred to their legal guardians' accounts. Banks have been ordered to open accounts for displaced people free of charge. Azerbaijan's one-day offensive against Nagorno-Karabakh late last month led to the dissolution of the region and the mass exodus of nearly all of the region's people to Armenia, leaving Armenia grappling with an unprecedented migration crisis. And as always, please follow CivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.